Amara and Chisholm grew up in the same dusty neighborhood of Nsukka. Their parents were neighbors, their childhood games overlapped, and their secrets intertwined. If Amara cried at home, Chisholm was the first to knock at the window to ask what had happened. If Chisholm was punished by her strict father, Amara sneaked her roasted corn through the back fence. The bond was so deep that elders in the village often shook their heads and said, "These two are not just friends, they are sisters. Blood must have mixed somewhere." By the time they were teenagers, they had become inseparable. They shared clothes, cooked together, and planned the future like one person. When one dreamed, the other saw herself in the same dream. But even in the closest of bonds, seeds of envy sometimes lie hidden, waiting for sunlight to sprout. Amara was the gentle type. Her smile disarmed even the most hardened heart. She was not just beautiful but carried herself with grace. People admired her for her kindness. Chisholm, on the other hand, was outspoken and fiery. She had ambition in her eyes but was not as patient as Amara. Together they balanced each other out, until life began to tip the scale. After secondary school, the harsh realities of adulthood began to knock. Jobs were scarce, and while both girls dreamed of going to university, only Amara had the opportunity. Her aunt, who lived in Enugu, offered to sponsor her further education, but Amara politely declined. She didn't want to leave Chisholm behind. Instead, she decided to find work locally to support herself while saving for future studies. Fortune seemed to smile on her. A boutique owner in town noticed her neat dressing and cheerful attitude and offered her a job. Within months, Amara became the darling of the boutique. Customers requested her specifically, drawn by her respectful greetings and patience. Her boss often rewarded her with bonuses and gifts. A bag one day, free food another day, sometimes even an extra envelope of cash for being hardworking. When Amara returned home with these blessings, she shared them with Chisholm, who always forced a smile. "Enemy, you deserve it," Chisholm would say, even as her heart tightened with jealousy. Amara often cooked large pots of food, making sure there was enough for both of them. Sometimes she would bring home takeaway packs from the boutique when her boss's wife hosted parties. Chisholm ate with her, but deep inside she began to compare. Why always her? Why not me, she thought. Are my hands not strong? Is my smile not good enough? Why does life keep favoring her? The bitterness grew slowly, like smoke filling a closed room. The harmattan season arrived, dry winds sweeping through Nsukka. Nights grew colder, and the aroma of food seemed stronger in the air. Amara's job at the boutique was thriving. She was now trusted with keys to the shop and even helped her boss with inventory. That meant more gifts, more food, more little envelopes of money. One evening, Amara returned home carrying a black nylon bag. She set it on the table, unwrapped it, and revealed a steaming plate of rice and stew, 2 pieces of fried chicken, and a chilled malt drink. "Chisholm," she called. "See what Madam gave me today. She said I'm like her younger sister." Chisholm appeared from the bedroom, forcing a smile. "Ah, Amara, God is really blessing you. You're so lucky." Amara's laughter rang through the room. "Not luck, my sister. Just grace. And don't worry, your time will come." But as she said those words, Chisholm's chest tightened. When will it be my turn?" she thought. She sat down, but her appetite was gone. Later that night, Amara went to fetch water from the compound tap, leaving the food covered on the table. Chisholm sat staring at it. The stew's aroma filled her nostrils. Her stomach rumbled. She knew Amara would share, but something dark whispered in her ear. "Take more. She won't notice. She always has plenty." Chisholm lifted the cover, scooped a spoonful, and another, and another. Before she realized it, she had eaten almost half the food. When Amara returned, she frowned at the plate. "Chisholm, you couldn't wait." Chisholm laughed nervously. "Ah, hunger nearly killed me. Forgive me, Baiko." Amara shook her head, smiling. "It's fine. Next time, I'll just give you your portion first." But for Chisholm, that small act ignited something more dangerous. Soon it became a habit. Whenever Amara brought food home, Chisholm would sneak extra portions when Amara wasn't looking. Sometimes at night, she tiptoed into the kitchen, uncovering pots to eat secretly. Started with hunger. But soon it was no longer about food. It was about power. Each stolen bite made her feel as though she had taken something from Amara. She has everything, let me at least take this. Weeks passed, and the distance between the two friends widened, though Amara didn't fully understand why. She still treated Chisholm like a sister, sharing everything. But Chisholm's heart had become a battlefield. One Sunday evening, Amara came home glowing with excitement. Her boss had promised her a salary increase. To celebrate, his wife had packed food for her. Fragrant jollof rice, spicy chicken, plantains and salad. Chisholm sat in silence, watching Amara unwrap the food. God is faithful, Amara said, smiling. Chisholm, soon I'll even help you with a job search. Don't worry, your breakthrough is near. But the words sounded like mockery to Chisholm's ears. She forced a laugh, but inside she was raging. Breakthrough. She thinks I'm a beggar waiting for crumbs. She wants me to clap for her while she rises above me. That night, Chisholm lay awake, her mind dark. The room was quiet except for Amara's soft breathing. On the table sat the covered food. The smell teased Chisholm's senses. She turned to look at Amara sleeping peacefully and whispered, "You think you're better than me. But tomorrow, everything will end." The next morning, when Amara left for church choir practice, Chisholm acted. She rummaged through the small kitchen until she found a small bottle of rat poison hidden behind old tins. With trembling hands, she opened the food plate and sprinkled the white powder into the rice and stew. Her heart pounded. Sweat dripped from her forehead. But she muttered, "After today, her laughter will end. People will finally stop praising her. No, I will no longer be in her shadow." She covered the food again and sat, waiting. But fate is not always kind to those who plan evil. Around noon, Amara sent a message. "Sister Chisholm, please wait for me. I'm helping Mom and Ketchy with tailoring work. I'll eat when I return." Chisholm's stomach growled. The food was still there, steaming with aroma. She told herself she would wait. But as minutes dragged into an hour, the temptation became unbearable. "Just one spoon," she whispered. "One spoon will not hurt." She uncovered the plate and scooped a bite. The taste exploded in her mouth. Delicious, irresistible. She took another bite. Then another. Before long, she had eaten nearly everything. She licked her fingers, breathing heavily. Then suddenly, her stomach clenched. Pain shot through her body like fire. Her throat burned, and she began to sweat profusely. She staggered to the door, trying to call for help, but only a hoarse whisper escaped. Her vision blurred, her legs trembled. She collapsed beside the empty plate, clutching her stomach, foam forming at her lips. Amara was still at Mom and Ketchy's tailoring shop when she felt a strange uneasiness. Something nudged her heart, an urgency to return home. She excused herself, promising to come back later, and hurried along the red dust road. As she approached their house, she noticed the door was slightly ajar. "Chisholm," she called, stepping in. The sight that met her froze her blood. Chisholm lay sprawled on the floor. Her eyes rolled back, foam dripping from her mouth. The plate of food was empty, the spoon still clutched in her hand. "Chisholm!" Amara screamed, rushing to her side. She shook her violently. "What happened? Talk to me." Chisholm's lips trembled. She tried to speak but only managed broken whispers. "It was for you. I poisoned it, meant for you." Her voice faded into a groan as her body convulsed. Amara's tears streamed uncontrollably. "No, God forbid. Who did this to you? Who poisoned you? Tell me." But the truth had already slipped out. Chisholm's face contorted in pain, her hands clawing at the ground. Amara ran out screaming for help. Neighbors rushed in, gasping at the sight. They carried Chisholm on a makeshift stretcher to the nearest chemist. But it was too late. By the time they arrived, her breathing had stopped. Amara collapsed, wailing uncontrollably. No, not Chisholm. My sister, my friend, my everything. Why would you do this? The news spread through Nsukka like wildfire. People gathered in clusters, whispering. Some shook their heads in pity, others in judgment. Chisholm poisoned Amara's food but ended up eating it herself. A woman gasped at the market. Envy is a terrible disease, another replied. Who would have thought? They were like twins. The burial was swift. Chisholm's family was stricken with grief, but also with shame. Amara, though heartbroken, helped in every way she could. She bought wrappers for the mourning women, fetched water for the cooking, and even contributed to the coffin. On the day of the burial, Amara stood by the grave, her eyes swollen with tears. As the priest prayed, she whispered to herself, "I forgive you, Chisholm. May God rest your soul." But deep inside, a scar had been etched. The betrayal cut deeper than death. That night, lying alone in the room they once shared, Amara stared at the ceiling. Her chest heaved with silent sobs. Memories of their childhood flooded back. Playing 10-10 under the moonlight, sharing roasted plantain, sneaking into the stream to swim. "Why, Chisholm?" she whispered into the darkness. "Was my success too heavy for you to bear? Did you not know I wanted to lift you with me?" Weeks passed, but the story never died. It became a parable in Nsukka, told in hushed tones to children and teenagers. At gatherings, elders would shake their heads and warn. Jealousy is like poison. It never kills the person you envy. It kills you first. Amara, though still grieving, made it her mission to share the lesson. She visited schools, speaking to young girls about friendship and envy. She told them her story, not hiding the pain. "Guard your heart," she said one day to a classroom of wide-eyed children. "When you celebrate others, blessings will find you too. But when you allow jealousy to take root, it will eat you from the inside until nothing remains." Her voice trembled, but her eyes burned with conviction. The children nodded, the weight of her words sinking in. For many, that story became a lifelong reminder. And so, Chisholm's tragic end was not in vain. It became a warning, a fire on the path of others to light the way. Friendship is one of life's greatest gifts, but envy can destroy even the strongest bond. Chisholm allowed jealousy to grow unchecked until it consumed her. Amara lost a sister in the most painful way, but her forgiveness turned tragedy into a lesson for the world. Jealousy is a poison. It never destroys the one you envy. It destroys the one who carries it.
Kindly subscribe, like, and comment for more interesting stories.